Okay, Beyond the Gates fans, this is it. Season 1, episode 40. We are getting closer and closer to the halfway point to episode 100. Now, this episode, I think it was a good cool down from the karaoke episode. And we're definitely setting up big things to come. I'm giving this a solid 8 out of 10. I did enjoy this episode. Now, before going further into the actual review, you know the drill. It'd really help me out if you go ahead and hit the thumbs up button to show you like the video. Hit that subscribe button. Follow me on social media. Links are in the description. And hit that bell icon and select all. That way you are up to date whenever I post content on the channel. And just a bit of fair warning. Prior to the end of this week, I have a lot, and I mean a lot of non-Beyond the Gates content that's been pre-recorded, and I will be posting on this channel because remember, my kind of entertainment is more so like a pop culture, trending topic kind of channel as opposed to our kind of entertainment, which is pretty much streamlined to be, you know, Tyler Perry's stuff. So if you get a bunch of notifications, they might not be all Beyond the Gates, just to let you know beforehand. Now, the episode starts off with Chelsea and Samantha talking about the, upcoming plans for the fashion designs and basically the business her and Kat have. But one of my favorite recurring moments of the episode is seeing various characters across town just enjoying looking and listening at the video that Anita, Naomi, and Danny did when they were on stage at karaoke night. Now, I don't know if it was necessarily posted online, but I do know that, you know, a bunch of the Duprees recorded it because with Chelsea being Chelsea, I was wondering if, I wonder if she took the video or got the video from one of her family members and then posted it on her social media, which we know is a huge, huge platform. And I wonder if that could have been a springboard for, you know, what happens later in the episode with the talent agent coming up to Anita with a proposal. But essentially, Chelsea is talking to Samantha about the various plans and strategies for, you know, putting together the right team. Kind of like Nick Fury putting together the Avengers or, you know, Batman or Superman trying to put together the Justice League. It's like, look, we got a bunch of elements, but we need the right team in order to take this business of ours to the next level. You know, yeah, I got the concepts. Kat has the business sense, but we need that backing power that's really going to be the 1-2 punch of our brand and making it expand beyond, you know, just a few concept designs. So from there, we go over to the law firm. And I was actually shocked because, correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't this the first time in I don't know how many episodes where we've seen Haley back at the law firm, not as Bill's wife, bringing him lunch or dinner, but her actually back in the office to work at her job. I think this was. But yeah, either way, Kat actually surprises Tomas with some coffee. I thought that was pretty sweet. I mean, it makes me kind of side-eyed him because, bro, like, you got a good thing potentially going with Kat. Don't be sidelined by Eva. Like, just don't. Now, she shows him the video of Anita singing, and he's enjoying it too. He's like, oh, I can't believe I missed it. Yeah, you missed it because you were messing around with Eva. No, you weren't. He was minding his own business at the country club, and they happened to spot each other from across the room. But in the midst of them, you know, laughing and giggling, Bill and Haley get off the elevator. Bill's like, whoa, what's this? Fun at the law firm? And then Haley's like, oh, I wonder what that singing is. It sounds good. And Kat wasted no time showing the video. Oh, that's my mom and my cousin and grandmother singing at karaoke. Yes, like, you know, Aunt Danny's having a second win, making a comeback. And the look on Haley and Bill's faces is like, man, hater energy. I mean, just because Danny's up there smiling and whatnot, all of a sudden, y'all, you know, it went from, oh, that singing is great to, she wasn't that good anyway. So Haley goes to her office to get to work. And then Bill tells Tomas he wants to see him in the office too, and Kat's like, "Oh no, did I get you in trouble with the boss?" "Oh no, I'm pretty sure it's nothing." And then they agree to have lunch at Uptown together, and just the way they were looking at each other, Kat smile and whatnot. Again, I think they're cool together. I do. It's just Tomas, don't get sidetracked. So Bill's whole thing is the fact that with this upcoming board of supervisors, if you will, basically the three women who filed the lawsuit are going to have, a board where they work to make things better in the company, to make sure no forms of sexual harassment happen again. And they have a say in terms of who gets employed and whatnot. Bill wants Tomas to have a seat on that board to essentially report to him about everything that's going on. And in the midst of this, Tomas is like, wait, what? Because Bill has a heck of a sales pitch, because before they even get into it, he's like, you know what, Tomas, I appreciate what you do for the firm. I mean, you have what it takes to be a partner someday. Oh, well, I appreciate that. That's what I'm working towards. But of course, I know that's a spot I'll have to earn. And Bill can tell Tomas is on. And here's the thing with Tomas. I feel like he's a good dude, but he's in a corrupt system. Basically, Bill Hamilton isn't the best influence. Now, keep in mind, I'm just throwing this out here. I don't think this is how it's going to go, but I feel at some point his morals are going to be put to the test, and then he'll have to decide whether or not he wants to keep working for Bill. Think about how Naomi has a law firm. I could see him probably doing a heel turn and work for her. I mean, obviously, I don't know how well that would work out, because the one time he actually approached Naomi about, dropping the case, because, the lawsuit could not just mess up Bill's firm and Mike, but the entire firm, impacting his job as well. But you never know, second chances and all that jazz. But Bill pretty much tells him up front, look, let me know if you're uncomfortable with this, because, I know another attorney who's, a little green around the edges, but he's hungry for a come up. And Haley actually overhears what's going on. And Tomas says, don't worry, you can count on me. And as he steps out, Haley comes in, and Bill is like, oh yeah, don't worry about those documents. I didn't notice you. It's like, don't worry about me and Tomas just having a little meeting. Now, two things with this. Number one, Haley mentions how this is underhanded. Like, I supported you on the Mike stuff because, yeah, he's a slimeball who deserved what he got. But in terms of, like, keeping an ear and an eye on the women on this board that they're going to be a part of, like, what's going on with that? I don't know. Maybe it's because of this pregnancy that I'm seeing things from a different perspective, a more nurturing side. Imagine if we have a baby girl and she's in the workforce. I would want her to work in a place where she can feel like she's safe, that she's heard, she's respected. And essentially, Bill flips on her saying, like, you know what, look, this is my firm, and I just want to make sure everything is good to go, because this Mike situation, I usually am on top of things, but you were too busy falling in love with me. Yeah, that's right. So I just want to make sure our legacy is secure. Honestly, I'm surprised Haley. I was actually thinking Haley might say something on Tomas's behalf about him, like, being one of the good ones. And, you might not want to corrupt someone like that, especially even though Kat isn't your technically niece anymore, the fact that you still look out for her. So, I don't know. I just felt some kind of way about that. But Bill mentions how he was working on some documentation for a college fund for their baby. And Haley's like, well, yeah, I don't even know if I'm pregnant yet. How hard is it to go to, like, the corner store, Walgreens, CVS, or whatever, get a pregnancy test, use it, and then determine if you're pregnant or not? I don't know why this is being dragged out. It's just like Leslie and Eva with the whole Ted's the straw that Eva swiped from Ted. Wasn't there supposed to be a DNA test? Because I hope, with how chaotic and wicked witch of the West this woman is, that Leslie would look at the dang results. Because do you know how humiliating it would be if they go to this anniversary party? Don't worry, I'll get to Leslie more in a minute. And, Leslie has this huge reveal about Ted and hers affair. And then you have a daughter. And then the results are, like, I don't know, put on the screen like a PowerPoint presentation. And then it's revealed that Eva is not his daughter. Where are the DNA test results? And Haley, take a dang pregnancy test. So that's pretty much what's happening here. So from there, Kat actually shows up to Chelsea and Sam. I think they were at the country club, if I'm not mistaken. Wait, are they in the country club? Because it looks like they were playing. Oh, yeah. Because I think Samantha mentions how Chelsea, not just did a workout, but played, a few rounds of tennis too. So she's on the ball or pick a ball, whichever one it is. So Kat pretty much yet again, talks on behalf of Aunt Danny and how important of an asset she would be to their company. Chelsea once again airs her grievances. Samantha is surprisingly all forward, which is kind of, I guess there's a difference between Aunt Danny being a part of the company versus being her specific manager as a model or modeling manager. So I don't know how you want to take that as is Samantha just agreeable for the sake of the plot? But then again, I think there is a specific difference between I want Chelsea to be my manager as a model for my upcoming career. But hey, Aunt Danny working for your purse line is all good. I don't know. It's just kind of... But yeah, Chelsea's upset about it, but she says she'll think about it. Now, speaking of Danny, Andre comes over to check in on her. And I did like the moment where he sees a glass on the table. And he's a bit concerned, but it turns out it's just plain old water. So for there, they have a little, back and forth banter as usual. And yeah, they have some breakfast, and she opens up about how she's trying to find herself, considering she's usually part of, partnerships, whether it be in her former marriage. And she hasn't been Danny Dupree, strictly Danny in so long, because, her modeling career was pretty much her, breakout. But then again, remember, Pamela was her agent during that time, so you can consider them a partnership. And then from there, she mentions the whole modeling agency thing, and Andre speaks for the rest of the audience where he's like, you know what? Yes, that is so you. And then they have an impromptu photo shoot where he's on the other side of the camera, and it was a pretty hot and steamy moment between the two. And that's when a text from Chelsea comes in, and Andre and her just have a moment together. But I don't think Danny ever said if she wanted him to stay or leave. But essentially, don't put their, call me, beat me if you want to reach me situationship on blast right now. So it's unknown if Andre is waiting for Danny upstairs or if she asked him to leave. But Chelsea actually comes over at the end of the episode and expresses how important she would be having a role in the agency, but she declines. And I was like, oh, wow. And, well, first of all, Chelsea, kudos for finally getting the nerve to tell your mom. But the thing is, even though I sympathize with Chelsea, you can't have it both ways. You can't just outright reject your mom and then a couple days later come crawling back saying, hey, that thing you wanted to do, yeah, we'll do it. Because this is the second time. First, it was flaking on her for the big fashion show fundraiser, but then at the 11th hour deciding to do it. And then it's like, hey, to be fair, the fundraiser thing, yeah, Chelsea was out of line for that. I could see why she didn't mention I want to quit modeling, but she could have at least had a compromise with her mom before, that 3-year contract thing. Look, I'll do the fundraiser, a big final hurrah. Can I please promote my purse line? And then after that, we can, part ways. I want to do my own thing. But when it comes to the the fashion line, Danny self-inserted herself. So yeah, Chelsea had to shut that down. That makes sense. But yeah, I know a lot of people online were like, oh man, Chelsea's face fell to pieces, picking up off the floor, people, because she did not expect her mom to be like, nope, I'm good. And from there, let's see here. Oh, yeah. Well, okay, I'm rolling this morning. All right. So we go to Uptown. And actually, skip ahead a little. It's lunchtime for Kat and Tomas. And, she's like, oh, no, look at your face. I mean, was that meeting with Bill that bad? Oh, no. He's just like, he said he's impressed with my work. And I have a partner I'm partner material, and Kat's so excited. But of course, Tomas doesn't reveal to her the whole thing about, yeah, I want you to secretly be the mole on this new board with the women, and you can tell me everything that's been going on. So, yikes. Now from there, I think the only two things to talk about would be Vernon and Anita, and then everything at the country. Well, yeah, Leslie, Eva, Ted, and Nicole. Okay, so we'll wrap this up pretty quick. So Vernon and Anita are at Uptown, and they're listening to looking at the video from last night. And Vernon just has this look of love, admiration, and pride on his face because, you know, his baby is back on stage doing her thing. And it turns out, you know, he kind of set up a meeting with like a talent agent who wants to come by and speak to Anita, and Anita isn't for it. It's like, man, I don't want to hear any more sales pitches. So then he shows up a little late, and Vernon acts like he has to take a phone call, and he slyly goes across the room, and he's like got his eye on the meeting. And I believe this talent person is the same guy who was running the karaoke night. So essentially, he was so impressed with Anita getting back on stage that, look, let's talk about a comeback. I'm telling you. And Anita shuts it down quick. It's like, listen, that was just an impromptu, no warm up, spur of the moment karaoke moment with my daughter and granddaughter. I'm not trying to get back on stage again. But he says, look, that's what I'm saying. You blew me away. You knocked me off my feet with just a random, off the top of your head singing moment. Now, if you could do that at the drop of a hat, imagine if you did everything you used to do back in the day, vocal warm-ups, rehearsals, this, that, and the third. Now that would be amazing. So he's talking about, like, you know, getting you back on stage, Anita Williams in lights and whatnot. And he's like, look, I only got up there because of my daughter and granddaughter. Well, look, if you want to have it a trio like back in the day, we can have them help you do like a couple of songs at the beginning, and then you go into your solo act, which is what the people want to hear. It's like my wife was getting on me last night because all I could think about was you and your music before I can go to sleep. So that's why I came up with this idea. So, well, you know, keep in touch. Let me know your thoughts. And then Vernon comes back over, and Anita calls him out. Yeah, you and that fake phone call. But he basically tells Anita what everybody was it did the night before in regards to, like, look, are you scared? You're asking me to get back on stage and do something that I've been, you know, doing behind closed doors for years. And I love how Vernon knows his wife so well. It's been so long since you were Anita Williams, and I can tell you miss it. And obviously we can too, based on all the moments where we see her looking at old photos and whatnot. And even, you know, like Naomi, how many times has she caught, you know, Anita just reminiscing and whatnot. So I loved it. And it's like, look, your voice is different, but it's so much richer now. See, what's his name? Rick Ashley or something. The guy who sang the song, what's it called? Being Rickrolled, Never Gonna Give You Up. I remember scrolling on Instagram, and there was a reel from a performance of his from like just a couple years ago, and he's saying Never Gonna Give You Up. Does he sound different? Yes. But at the same time, his voice matches not just his age, but the song just feels more mature than it did when he sang it back in the when did the song come out, in the 80s? And Anita, it feels the same way, where she still has a good voice. It's just that it changed due to her getting older. And yeah, like Vernon said, it's richer. It's like, isn't that like wine, fine wine? It ages well over time. That's essentially Anita's voice. Yeah, she's not going to sound exactly how she did back in the day, but her voice is actually still really good. And it kind of reminds me of how some, singers, like their voices, they don't change whatsoever. Like, think about Johnny Gill, who sounded like, you know, in his, like a 25, 28-year-old when he was like a preteen. And then that's why his career really didn't take off, because nobody knew what to do with a young boy who sounded like a grown baritone. And it wasn't until, you know, he joined New Edition and he took them from the, you know, candy coated pop to grown ass man music. And then of course his career went on, and look, him and New Edition are close to, if not knocking on the door of mid-50s to 60s, and his voice still sounds as good, if not better, than when he did back in the day. So, yeah, Anita, this will be a great comeback. And I love how a lot of these characters who've had past lives, who sacrificed them for the sake of their family, you know, like Anita for the Duprees, her singing career, and then Danny with her modeling. I love that they're both seemingly making a comeback, and I'm all for it. Now, aside from that, we go over to Leslie and Eva, and Leslie shows Eva that, hey, I got us dresses for the big event coming up. And of course, Eva still like not feeling this whole evil scheme, and her mom snaps on her because yet again, Eva's pointing out how this plan is pretty stupid. It's going to blow up in your face. But Leslie does not want to hear it. Now, from there, Eva gets a text saying that, oh, I got to go meet with a caterer about the cake for the big party. And then Leslie says, hey, I need you to go down to the car and get some stuff out for me, but I got this meeting. Come on, it'll only take a minute. I'm only in my robe and whatnot. So Eva splits, and Leslie looks at her phone and sees that it's from Nicole, not the cake caterer like she said. Does she not have a lock on her phone? Or was it one of those moments where we cut scenes even though everything happens at one time, where Eva put her phone down and maybe it didn't lock before she went out the door? I don't know. I just feel like, you know, as soon as I put my phone down, I hit the button, you know, to cut it off. And then if I pick it up again, or whoever, you got to put the code back in. This is just like the whole thing where Kat rushed into the house because she knew Eva was there based on that hidden camera. And Eva somehow used Kat's phone to, I guess, erase the footage, even though her phone was dead. I don't know. Plot convenience, whatever. So over at the country club, Nicole and Ted are getting a little frisky. Nicole's like, Ted, I don't know why. I just love seeing how in love they are. But even though we know Ted cheated, so it's like, oh, man. So Eva actually comes in for the meeting with Nicole about the big party. So Nicole actually steps away, and her and Ted have a moment where Ted actually wants Eva to keep a secret about, you know, some sort of like secret gift that he has coming up for Nicole, and keep between them. And as Eva, you know, steps to the front to talk to the person at the front desk, we see Shelly come in, and Eva goes, and then she grabs her by the arm and takes to the corner. And I'm thinking to myself, the moment I saw Leslie come in, I'm like, I know she ain't wearing the same wig that she got fired in at this country club. But hey, I got to give props to the writing because they explain it. So she's trying to get a bartender gig at the upcoming anniversary party. And it turns out and Eva brings it up like, weren't you fired? Yeah, well, it turns out the old manager from the catering that time, he got fired, unknown circumstances. I think we all know she had something to do with it. And from there, we go over to Nicole and Ted, who are talking about, you know, the situation about like seating and whatnot. And Eva mentions an app where, you know, you could just move people around like chess pieces. And Ted sees that Nicole is trying to put Eva at the table with them on the anniversary party. And Nicole's like, well, yeah, she planned it and everything. And I'm like, oh boy, Nicole, like, can you imagine how awkward that would be? We got Eva in close proximity to Ted and Nicole at the party, at their table, and then Leslie comes and blows everything up, and then everybody's looking at Eva like, and Kat's like, I told y'all! I told y'all. But, so Eva eventually gets Leslie or Shelly to leave, and like not even 2 seconds later, Ted and Nicole come out, and they're like, well, it looks like you've seen a ghost. Oh, no. It's fine. I just, I gotta, you know, do something real quick. So Ted and Eva actually go back inside of the country club in the dining room area. And then Shelly spots Nicole and then walks up to her. It's like, hey, what happened to you? It's like, I heard something happened where you got taken out of the awards party. And then Shelly's like, yeah, well, I don't have much time. There's something you need to know. And then that's the end of the episode. But overall, pretty solid episode. That's really all I have to say. Like and subscribe as I requested earlier. It does help in more ways than one. And I'll catch you all in the next video.